Okay. That just leaves it with one last series left. I think that we have enough time to cover. If not, we'll just add time because I know you guys want
Yeah,
to go into this. Wait, did we go over everything? Yeah, we did.
yeah.
We did.
It's just
Okay,
a big
beautiful.
one.
Yeah, the big one. And a big one it is because the Leafs just won last night, 4-3 in overtime against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Riley. Which Riley? There's two of them. O'Reilly and Morgan Riley. Ryan O'Reilly scores I think tie it. Yeah, it was the tying goal with what? I want to say
Literally
like
a
30 seconds
minute,
left.
1 minute
one
Okay.
exactly.
minute right on.
60 seconds left, 1 minute left. Ryan O'Reilly scores. That's why you guys got him, and that's why you guys paid a lot for him. And I'll tell you what, it's been worth it. And then another guy you guys paid recently, Morgan Riley, rips the shot home past Vasilevsky to win the game. How do you
I
guys
wouldn't
feel?
even say I wouldn't even say he rips it. Like he just kind of
Just shot, yeah,
flopped it
just shot it.
over, and yeah. Uh, Dave, have you heard any of the Joe Bowen calls
I
for these
have not.
goals?
You know what?
Okay.
I was thinking about I saw somebody was like somebody needs to post the Joe Bowen calls on Twitter, and then I never went
Yeah.
out and searched for them, but I'm gonna go search for them after 100%.
Okay. Fair
Because
enough. I'm
I
gonna
could
take
only
this
imagine.
opportunity. Oh, they're great. They're great.
Oh
But so
man.
here's the thing, though. Here's the thing that takes some of the edge off. I know I said this like before the series started. The Bonesy crew and Jim Ralph, they aren't being sent for the away games. So this was a studio call. And I do think it took a little bit of the edge off because it's tough to get amped up when you're a
You're not
commentator,
there.
not actually in the arena, right? So I think Bonesy kind of alluded to that in some of his calls. He was like, "Well, Stamkos and Matthews are fighting, but there's no camera feed here, so yeah, we're just gonna have to wait for that." But anyways, my point in bringing up the Joe Bowen calls was Ryan O'Reilly scores, and he's like, "Ryan, oh apostrophe Riley," and I'm like, I freaking love that call. So I'm calling him Ryan apostrophe Riley
Oh,
from now on. I was
apostrophe
like,
Riley.
what kind of middle name is apostrophe? What? And then it clicked. I'm
Then
like,
he
oh,
clicked.
Bonesy, you god. Okay, like, do we gotta go chronologically in this,
Yeah.
or what do we? Yeah. Okay.
I
So
think
this,
I think that this game deserves
yeah,
a nice chronological
My
recap
memory is
for
shot. I
sure.
don't remember anything that happened. The
me
only thing
me
I remember
too.
happened is
I'll be honest with you, Brian. It's gonna be a struggle. I might have to pull up something, or
Yeah.
somebody's gonna have to pull it up to jog the memory. But what I do remember is Leaf score first
Achari.
again, right? It was relatively early in the game. We saw in the two games before, it was like goals in the first 60
First two
seconds,
minutes.
90 seconds,
Yeah.
basically. This one I think came like 4 minutes in, but Leafs strike first. So it kind of feels now like 3 games in a row, the team that strikes first ends up winning the game, right? You want to start on time. That was the one thing we said after game one. They did in game two, they did in game three. They won both of those games.
With the primary
Novachari,
assist, Dave. Oh,
Matthew Nyes with his first ever
did they collect the puck?
Playoff point.
playoff point. Yeah.
I don't even know if they collect, dude. Honestly, I think we're just so in the moment that like we might have even forgot about it. It's
I have no
okay
idea.
because we'll have another one. We'll have the one for the first goal. That was
Yes.
a sneaky shot from Achari. Like that was a gunslinging shot, a little bit Phil Kessel-esque. When he
Yeah.
goes blocker side above the pad. It was a well placed shot. You definitely want that back
It's
still if you're
it
Vasi.
snuck. It did sneak
Yeah.
through Vasia a little bit.
Yes.
It kind of went through
Yeah.
him. Okay. When are we going to talk about goals kind of just going through Andrei Vasilevsky? Is it
You
going to be
don't.
now?
You don't.
I don't want to say it. But
It's so yeah.
I do
Dave, I
want to
feel
make
like
a note of it
go
though.
go.
I do want to make a note of it. The it does look like the Leafs offensive game plan 100% is get traffic going. It feels like 90% of the goals that they've scored so far has been with like 3 people with their asses in front of Andrei Vasilevsky getting his eyes. But this one wasn't one of those. It just feels like
It's a clean shot.
yeah, it really was a clean shot. And it's something that you wouldn't expect from Andrei Vasilevsky. Now, here's the caveat to that. It's game 3. Last year, Andrei Vasilevsky didn't turn into Andrei Vasilevsky until games 6 and game 7, right?
Yep.
Does he get hotter as the series goes on? Potentially, he could. But from right now, it doesn't look like he is world beating Andre Vasilevsky. This is the perfect opportunity to strike, which is
Dave, you
why.
just signed off the death sentence.
No, but this is why winning this game was as important as winning, any other game, because it looked like Vasilevsky last night was just kind of off his game. The Leafs really couldn't generate too much offensive zone time. Their shots were, they definitely were overthinking it. I felt that sometimes. But when they did get their shots off, it kind of felt like it just beat them clean, right? Or not even clean, because there was a couple like deflection goals in there too. But what do you think, Christian?
Andre Vasilevsky has the worst save percentage of any goaltenders appeared in 3 games so far. There's 20 goaltenders who have appeared in any game. He has an 853 save percentage. Ilya Samsonov is the second worst goaltender who's appeared in
Really?
3 games at an 878.
They
Goaltending
both
is
have
just kind of not a thing in
Yeah.
this series. Yeah, at least not yet. But like you said, we know that Vasi can turn it on at any moment in the series. We talked about the back-to-back games thing. And we talked about how the Rangers broke the streak last year. They didn't win this series. They didn't win their series, even though they broke the Vasi streak. So he turned it on again there. But you can also say that Colorado solved him in the finals, maybe. Like, it's not like he's a brick wall forever and ever, amen. So it is what it is. We can only judge a goaltender off of what we've seen. And from what we've seen, the Leafs have a game plan. And when they execute it, it goes well for
It
us.
does go very, very,
It
very
goes
well
well
for
for
them.
us. Yes.
I,
Which is
I
great.
I think
Love
that
it.
you guys, I like the enthusiasm for you guys. I'm happy for you guys. I want you guys to win. I'll be honest with you. I still have Toronto 6. I don't think that it's as orchestrated as you guys think. I think that my take on this is that the Bolts are just beaten up. Hedman is
Yeah,
clearly
that
not.
it definitely doesn't help
Yeah.
100%. Like you could tell there's not. I mean, they
Hedman's
still have
not
the
a.
same
He's not
intensity,
100%.
but
Chernak's a
well, yeah.
top 3 and end of the year team in the league. Like they're noticeably not there, and I want to see what
Yeah.
happened with Point. If
Where
Point's
where these guys matter is in front of the net too, right? Like a fully
Yep.
healthy Hedman or a healthy Chernak, they're moving bodies in front of the net, and that has been part of the formula, like Dave said, to get to Vasi, is to have those guys parked net front.
And
It's a fair
I
point.
asked you guys this on the last episode. Is there an asterisk? You guys both said no. A key factor we just need to mention too, puck, like in front of net. Ryan O'Reilly feasts when when the guys just aren't strong in front of the net. Chernak, Hedman aren't there, so Ryan O'Reilly looks good right now. Like I don't know. This is gonna be a series that if the Leafs do win, I think it's gonna be in your memory. Like in the sense that Hedman, Chernak, potentially Point aren't going to be there, and it's going to be interesting how it goes from here because will
But
Kucherov
here's
step
the.
up? Like, what's
I
going to
think
happen, right?
Point not come back? Like he
He
came
came
back like
back, but
within
Dave, like,
5 minutes.
it didn't look good. I'll be honest with you. Like,
It didn't look good, but the fact that he came back made me think
I don't
a
know,
little
dude.
otherwise.
I
Yeah.
I think I'll be honest with you. Maybe a little bit of bias here. Just did a little.
A little bit of gamesmanship. We'll get to that. We'll get to that because that's a third period. We gotta get there. We have to
Okay.
make the journey there. I
so
wanted to say, Brian, just like a rebuttal to the idea of the asterisk and whatever. I mean, the year that the Blackhawks got swept in the first round against the Nashville Predators, like there's no asterisk on that. Like I'm not that they were missing, but like
yes,
it's like an era has to come to an end for every team,
it's
right?
a
Like it
fandom
just
asterisk. You know what I mean? Like you guys
I
will.
think when you watch the games, like
Yes, that's true.
they're close games. It doesn't feel like we're like getting like oh
You're not getting
I don't
gypped
know
on the
how to say
quality. I'll
it.
tell you that. Yeah,
Yeah, and like and the way that you make good on there being no asterisk is you win rounds past round one, right? You
True.
say, "Oh, we beat the Tampa
yes.
Bay Lightning, but then we beat these other teams." So, right? So,
So
back to chronological order. Or Brian, do you have another point there?
yeah, I was gonna just say Sorelli
Okay.
gets a second. He stepped up.
Yeah.
He's going to have to step up if Point is hurt because he would automatically just become number one C, or he would stay 2C and Stamkos would move to center. I'm not sure how they're going to work it out, but regardless, that's the situation they have. Austin Matthews gets his first. Beautiful tip. I liked it a lot. I thought Marner
Yeah.
scored it, I'll be honest with you guys. But obviously, when you see the replay, you see the little touch and then the goal.
There's something nice about like guys that you just like you have them in your mind as pure finesse guys or just pure snipers. When you see them get a dirty tip goal, you like that. You like that. That's a playoff goal from Austin Matthews. I think Kaprizov had one in game one of Minnesota Dallas. It's just nice to see. Um, it's good for him to get on the scoreboard, to get off the Schneid, get that 0 out of the G column. Marner put some oomph behind that shot too. I actually thought it was Yarncrow who took the shot at first because I'm like that looks like a Yarncrow shot. No, it was Mitch though. Yeah, so that was a beautiful play. And dude, Vasi was so fooled on that. If you watch that one in slow mo, he fully gets into the position to cover the puck in his chest. He's like, okay, well, this is a routine save for me, and his eyes light up when he realizes it's
behind him. Yeah,
Man.
And then obviously Hagel scores with I want to say like 40 seconds left. I don't remember the number.
So that was
remember when I
said
that Hagel hadn't shown up yet?
Yeah. So that was when it was like I remember watching that. I was like, Sammy. Like I know it wasn't all Sammy, but I was like, Sammy, please. It was just that felt like the backbreaker for things to come into the second period. If we don't have any thoughts on that, I think we could jump ahead to the second period where it kind of seemed like whatever Toronto tried to do, Tampa stymied it and just stomped all over the Leafs. For 20 minutes, that was a very, very frustrating period to watch. I could only imagine what it was like to play against, right? They couldn't get any time of possession. I think by the end of the second, it was like double time of possession in the offensive zone. Oof, man.
Couldn't break the puck out, man. Could not break the puck out. And if we did, it was for an icing call.
Basically.
I didn't like anyone.
If you guys don't win this game, this is all we're talking about this episode.
Yeah.
Or like you would have a separate episode just for this.
100%.
Yeah.
And we'll get to what it means to win this game, like in more just the overall outlook after this game. But just specific to the second period and what was going wrong. Defensemen were getting trapped in the corners and were making wrong decisions with the puck, but like they weren't in game two. I talked about how I really liked the patience we were showing where we Tampa would come in on the forecheck, our defenseman would be right there with them. It would be a battle on the boards, and they just had that extra little bit of conviction to make the right play, where it's not to rush it along the half boards and then Tampa ends up stopping at the blue line. It might be, okay, I'm going to fake and then I'm going to put it behind our net because I know our defense is going to get it, and then we can make a clean breakout. That was not happening at all this game again. That was out the window, and I didn't like our wingers either. I felt like every time the puck went to our blue line and Tampa's D-men were walking the blue line, I felt our wingers were way too passive. Too many times I saw like Nylander, even Achari, honestly, Kerfoot, just guys kind of waving their stick at the blue line, doing nothing with it. They felt like kind of pointless. It was really tough to see. It was a total survival period. And somehow we came out of it 3-2. We should mention the goal. Darren Radish scores that goal. What was it, like maybe 10 minutes into the?
Yeah, it was probably about like halfway through the period. He just
halfway through, right?
He bounced off of I'll be honest with you, most people when Jake McCabe come, it looked like he even went at him, like he went pretty full speed into him too.
He gave him a good hit.
Bounced right off of him, and he walked out in front and put up a nice shot. Probably the most underrated shot from anybody on that team. Like I would not expect Taylor Radish's brother, Darren Radish, who also played on the Erie Otters, apparently. So that's why, like, I just keep thinking Radish. Crazy that they both played for that same team.
This reminds me of the wonderful the TSN bit on Overdrive. Al's brother. I actually don't even know that dude's name, and I know he has a podcast and he's a very popular figure in the media, but I know him as Al's brother, and I think we're just gonna know Darren Radish as Taylor's brother. Doesn't have the same ring off the the same roll off the tongue, but yeah, he did bounce right off of that McCabe check. It was a hard hit, so it's tough to fault McCabe for making that choice. But you do imagine if he plays the puck there, it's maybe a different result. And I didn't really like Sammy too much on that goal, to be honest. Looking at it again, because there wasn't a screen. I thought maybe there was at first, and then I looked at it. He's just down. He's on his knees before the shot is even fired. Yes, it is like, I don't know, 6 feet in front of the net, so that's part of it for sure. But I don't know. I
Yeah,
didn't like it the most.
letting him walk out in front. I believe it was Nylander as the high man there, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And like you said about the just like being a bit passive. I feel like maybe that so it would have been Nylander. Maybe he could have done something a little bit more, especially considering that the other defenseman was behind the net, basically on the board still.
Yeah.
But let's give credit where credit's due. Still a really nice shot from Darren
Yeah.
Radish.
Yeah.
He stepped up.
But
He's
yeah.
stepping up this series period. I think he's eating minutes. Every time I see every time he's on the ice, it's noticeable.
I
And
think he ended last night with like the fourth most minutes across both teams or something like that. Or maybe it was like third most on Tampa, something like that.
yeah,
You know what I didn't realize? How old do you think Taylor's brother is?
22.
26.
He's like 27, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I didn't expect that. Like I imagined him like similar age to his brother. When I heard he's like 27, I'm like, oh my God, this guy, I really haven't heard of this guy.
Late
How
bloomer.
is he 27? I didn't know he exists. Yeah.
So we'll just be right back. We're gonna go on a quick break before we get into the third and overtime. For you guys, it'll be seamless. For us, I guess it'll be seamless too. We'll just be right back.
Oh.
Okay, we just got back from our little break. So Darren Radish scores. Bolts are up 3-2. How are you guys feeling?
Well, that was in the second period, so like it did not feel good. It was a total survival period, and to come out of that period 3-2
Lucky.
was almost in itself a little bit of a victory, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going into the third, I think it was midway through the third. There was a little bit of an altercation. We saw some stuff happen. Braden Point falls awkwardly into the glass after a clean hit. I will say that from Morgan Riley. And then I think Kucherov jumps on Riley, Stamkos, and then there's just big brawl. And in that moment, penalties are given out 5 for 5, and you really saw Tampa Bay's experience right there. Stamkos drawing a fight out of Matthews to take him off because he knows that Leafs going to be in the power play because Kucherov's actions, and taking Matthews off keeps him off the ice for 5 minutes. Kind of helped them, and ultimately didn't. But at the end of the day, you could see that the playoff experience was there. There was a instance where Point looked badly hurt. For me, it looked like he was going to be out for the rest of the series. The way he fell on the ground. Dave, I know you said that you thought he was selling it a bit. Want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so I mean, listen, for somebody to react the way that he did and then come back into the game within 5 minutes, I know if you're a Tampa fan, you're like, oh, this guy's a warrior. For me, as a biased Leaf fan, to me that looked like he tried to sell it. He tried to sell the major, and he almost did because they did have to reverse the call. Which I'm glad that they did because I don't think it was a predatory hit. Maybe, yeah, it was for sure it's a bit dangerous, but listen, anytime you're gonna go into the boards like that, I just felt like Point kind of drew that on himself. Like he was already going down. Like he was on one knee basically as they were going into the boards. But yeah, so when he came up, I'll be honest with you, I thought he hit his face. I thought I saw blood. I was like, oh my God, like that is scary if that happened, right? You know what I mean? Then I'd be like, okay, he should be coming out of the game. But for a play like that to happen and then just for him to come back within 5 minutes and then resume playing, and it kind of felt like he maybe he wasn't at 100%. He probably took a little bit of a sting, but I just felt like he tried to sell that more than what it was. And I would imagine he's in the lineup for tomorrow's game.
I'm in agreement on that point. Not to make the pun, damn it. Listen, me and Brian, like we said, we were watching that game together. We watched that hit happen. We watched a bunch of replays. And yeah, I feel pretty confident saying it was not a dirty hit based off of the fact that Riley has no contact with points once he's on that one knee. So there is a good, well, I don't know what the time frame was, but like I said, point ends up on one knee. And after that, there is no added motion from Riley that pushes him into the boards. It is just points momentum. Right? Like it's tough to give him a major there. And I know a lot of people were going crazy. Like I was getting texts all kinds like, what the hell? How can you call that a major when they had first announced it? But I think that's at least probably the third or fourth time in the playoffs this year that I've seen the 5 minute major called, and I'm now numb to them because I understand that. I think most people understand after watching the game last night, they call that with the intention of reviewing it, and that 5 minute major is just a placeholder for what the actual penalty will be. In our case, there was no penalty at all. I know in the Dumba Pavelski incident, I'm pretty sure they reviewed that one. They changed it from a 5 minute major to a 2 minute minor. So it doesn't like have to be a penalty. It doesn't have to be 5 or nothing. It's honestly a really good option now that the referees have. And the rarity of those types of reviews is what I think makes it tolerable. Because I know a lot of the conversation we have sometimes is, do we want so many reviews in the game? It takes away from the action. They're so tedious and go on and on. This type of call doesn't happen very often. If I had to guess, it maybe happens once or twice per series versus the offside calls, the goaltender interference, the puck crossing the line, the continuation one like we saw in the first period. Oh my God. If you had to get averages on those, there's probably at least one goal review per game, I would have to guess. So yeah, I was okay with the hit. I don't feel like guilty about the fact that we didn't come out of that with a penalty of some sort. I thought the Kucherov tackle of Riley right after was
warranted a penalty.
Egregious, or very egregious, worth a penalty. And the hilarious thing is that's not where our power play came from. That was crazy, and I didn't know about this until today, when I was watching some LFR.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah. Honestly, so I know. So we didn't even actually get footage of how we got our power play. It was some altercation involving Darren Radish and Mitch Marner. Dave, do you have any recollection of seeing anything involving those two in the scrum? Because I don't. I know there's a lot happening.
That was one where it was like, because there was like 5 different scrums going on at the same time, and I think the biggest scrum was Stamkos versus Matthews, right? So
yes.
I think that took a lot more attention. Which, let me say one thing on that end: Steven Stamkos, you are a dirty cheat. For to go after Auston Matthews, who had 3 sticks in his hand, cleaning up the mess that was made by your man in Nikita Kucherov.
I'm telling you, it was smart.
Revoke his Ontario card right now. He is not an Ontario-born player. Send him to fucking Michigan or something.
No longer a good old Toronto.
He's no longer welcome in. Where's he from? Markham.
Markham.
Yeah. You are no longer welcome in Markham anymore. I'm sorry. After not signing with us, a few years ago, in hindsight, pretty good decision from him. But and now this, you know what, Steven? No more. I've had enough with you. It's been building with you over the past.
Dave, you're a fan.
Couple of playoff runs. No, not anymore. He doesn't deserve it. Not after that. Auston Matthews deserves the Markham Bourne distinction.
Dude, my God. I totally even lost my train of thought. I was gonna go in another direction with it, but I'll just stick to the basics here. My God, yeah, what a little scrum there. The best is just like how he's got one arm on Matthews as he's talking to the ref.
Yeah.
Like there is multiple moments in this game where we wish we were a fly on the wall and knew what was being said, a la Dubas and fan altercation.
Oh man,
we'll get into that.
Oh man,
but like, man, how much money would you pay to know what Stamkos said to the ref and then to hear what Stamkos and Matthews just say to each other?
I'd pay an ungodly amount of money to get not even just that incident alone, but that plus then we got a little bit of It was
There was Shen
Maroon.
Maroon.
It was Maroon, Janot, and I want to say Nick Paul or Brandon Hagels.
Okay.
They were all going after Luke Shen. There was that.
He
There
kept his
was
composure too. Eh? That guy's a calm. He can beat your head off,
yeah,
but he's also got some patience there.
yeah, he does. There was that. There was all the stuff that happened before with like the Rileys. Like to be a fly on the wall. Like, can you be everywhere at once? And then it kind of culminates with the Leafs GM Kyle Dubas, who I'll be
During all
honest with you.
this,
Yeah, this happened. So that video,
during
I
the
thought it
review, I think.
happened. Yeah, it happened during the review. I don't know if that stuff started coming out at that
A
point
little
or
after.
close to the end of the game, right? So he's going at one of the fans, which is very weird. For one thing, I have to say about the
It's in
Amalie
character
Arena.
though. Low key, like
I have
you
to say
can.
one thing about the Amalie Arena.
This is a good point, Dave. If I'm guessing where you're going here.
Why
Yeah.
are the the top brass management that close to fans? Like, I
It's a
know
great point.
in Toronto they have like their own
The gondola.
right?
Yeah.
Like up in the like I thought
No
maybe
one's touching them.
yeah, because like it leads to stuff like that basically, right? Like you shouldn't have to think. Listen, I if the roles were reversed and it was like Julian Breezeball going at a Leaf fan, you know what, I'd have Breezeball's respect as well, because you know what, for whatever that fan probably said to Kyle Dubas, and
Yeah.
to elicit that sort of response, and then also get the win after that. Oh my God, if I was that fan, I would not show up. I would revoke my fan card and just like put my jerseys away. I'd be like, listen, I'm not watching the rest of this series because that's kind of embarrassing. But
It's
that
kind of
was
in character though. Duba's an emotional guy. Like
Dude, but he's
he
usually got
tries to
some
hide it.
patience in pressers. Like in press conferences, he can definitely like hold back most of the time. He like loose there, man. That was
It's not even the
wow.
first time. Like we've seen him let loose in the boxes, right? Like
Yes.
Even when he's on his
Within
phone,
himself.
like
yeah,
this, you can tell he's like stressed or something, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
this time was a new level.
Is he the most emotional GM in the league? Like I can't
I'm
think of
gonna say
anybody.
no.
Mark
Okay, but
Bergevin was maybe.
here's the thing. I don't even know if this guy, I can't remember if this guy's the GM or the president, but okay. You guys remember when Dorian, there was something with Dorian in a water bottle last year, I think, maybe 2 years ago.
Oh, against the Leafs, he whipped it at a
What?
wall.
Okay. No, okay. That's where I was gonna go. That was Don Sweeney, I'm pretty sure. Or it's either Don Sweeney or Cam Neely. I think it was Cam Neely in the playoffs against the Bruins. And remember he did that, or did they both do
Yeah.
it?
Did it make? I know for sure Pierre Dorian did it too.
Okay, so I guess they both did it. That's my favorite moment. The Cam Neely one. I can't remember even which game it was. It might have been the Pasternak paddle saved by Freddie game. Might have been that one because we
Could have
stole
been.
that game,
Yeah,
right?
it could have been.
And he freaking whips that thing at the wall. That was hilarious. This is Dubas's moment. If you want to make like the Toronto sports parallel, I don't know. I guess this is like his fuck Brooklyn moment. I
Oh
don't know.
man,
Right?
that's
Like,
legendary Messiah
right?
quote right
Yes.
there.
Like okay, I can't imagine imagine Dubas holding he's holding court and he's like standing beside like Legends Row in Maple Leaf Square after you win round one, and he's like, you know what? Fuck Boston. Like, okay. That would be the equivalent, right?
Fuck Tampa and fuck Boston.
Oh, they're
Fuck the
like
Eastern Conference.
I was thinking if he gets a statue. What would his statue be? It'd be him like this.
It'd be him pointing.
And the video that I did see, I don't feel like it's like taboo to talk about just because it's everywhere. It's like we don't really know what the fan said, but the video I saw, you can clearly hear Dubas saying to the fan, "You're such a fucking hero, huh? You're such a fucking hero." Once again, fly on the wall moment. Would love
Dude,
to hear what was said there. I'm assuming it was vulgar, but
yeah. Listen. We've had our fair share of fan moments, right? Game 2, we had yellow sweater. Game 3, we have unidentified Tampa fan in the crowd, right?
Dark guy. There's a whole lineage of these guys.
At the end of the day, I think you just chalk this up as this is what playoff hockey and playoff sports, this is what it's all about. At the end of the day, do these guys hate each other? Probably not. If you were to run into Kyle Dubas on the street, he's not going to yell in your face like that. That's just how it gets sometimes, right? We're
Yeah.
not robots. Like, you've got to let your emotions go. I could only imagine for Kyle Dubas, who all he's heard over the past 5 years. How long has he been in charge of this team? Like 4 years?
I think 5 years. I think 5.
5 years? All
Yeah.
he's heard of is round one, round one, round one. You guys aren't getting through. This team's too soft. This guy has done everything to change that over the past, I would say now in the past 12 months for sure. It's been a complete overcorrection. And
This guy just made a snap.
I think that was it. Like, whatever this guy said, he probably said to Dubas, "Hey, your hair is misplaced." And Kyle Dubas is like, "You're a real fucking
You're
hero.
such
You're a
a
real fucking hero." You want to talk about my hair like that? I use the best gel product in Toronto. Something
Hey,
like
Dubas. Hey, where's your second phone? Huh? Hey, your glasses are weird. Yeah, like just some.
you know what I
really
mean?
hope
So
it's
it
just the
was definitely
stupidest thing
it was
ever.
definitely something stupid
Oh.
too. To just be like to just set him loose. I think we could honestly start moving off this topic now
Yes,
because
I think it's a
Yeah.
good idea. Yeah, it was really
Yes.
funny though. Like it was really good entertainment to see
it,
after.
it's not something you see every day and not every series. Like I don't know if
Yeah.
you'll see that ever again or not
Never.
for a
He'll learn
while.
his lesson.
Okay. I
Let's talk
feel like
about
we do have to go back to the scrum because there is still like a lot of nuance in the scrum. Specifically some of Keith's comments after the fact that really shed some good light on what happened there. As I pull it up here, I'm just going to try and get it off of my head. He basically talked about, or he was asked a question about the scrum, and he said, "Well, yeah, that's basically a classic example of a veteran championship winning team in the Tampa Bay Lightning knowing how to, and these are his exact word, knowing how to manipulate the reps." And he goes on to say, um, they took advantage of the fact that we they knew that they were going to be on the penalty kill. The reps weren't going to put them on a further disadvantage, so they kind of had free will to do whatever the hell else they want, which was exhibited by Stamkos. People just imagine that Stamkos is saying, "Oh, so I can punch this guy because I'm not going to get another penalty because you guys don't do it in the playoffs. Okay, well I'll just do it." And he just goes, "That's that Austin." Like that's kind of what it looked like. And I think he actually mentioned Stamkos by name. And the tactics involved in that, right? You already have O'Reilly who got a major. He's a guy who's been playing on the power play. Riley's off for repairs. Hey, why don't I take Austin Matthews? That guy, he's pretty good. He scored
he's right
60
there
goals.
anyway.
If I take that guy off the ice, Maple Leafs might as well not even have a power play. And Keefe ends that little quip that he has there saying like it was a excellent move by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Like he gave them props. And I don't even think he did it sarcastically. I really do think it was like, I give them my due respect. They know how to play the game. I don't think there's been a single quote or just moment in the series that has gotten the two fan bases more heated than this one. I have seen and I usually don't look at too many like just fan reactions to moments, but it is like Tampa fans are done with Keefe. They just absolutely hate him, and it is heat of the moment stuff, all that. Like, my God, they Keefe has set people off with that stuff, and I do think he had a bad choice using the word manipulate because I think that is being fair. Like, ironically, the word manipulate is
That's
being
manipulative.
manipulated in headlines to make it seem like he said something that he did not. He did not say, "Oh yeah, Stamkos is in cahoots with the refs." That's not what he said, and he should have chose a better word than manipulate. I would pull up the thesaurus right now and get a better word, but I'm not going to. You guys get the point. There was words better than manipulate.
Here is the thing though. They do manipulate the refs. I
Oh,
think he's calling it black and white. I think
I can't see manipulate. I feel like manipulate just like that's too it's a, and I don't think he meant to do it on purpose. I think he means something else by saying that. I almost want to go and find another word that Keith could have used. Gabe, give me your opinions. I'm literally going off the source right now.
I have the worst word. He could have used exploit.
Yes, which he didn't.
No,
do you think if you put exploit into there? Okay, no, but maybe that is a good word.
But they
exploit. It feels like you're which is it's like, and if you are presented with a system you're going to take advantage of it, but that doesn't mean that you're in cahoots with the system, right? You are two separate entities. The
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Lightning and the referees are not the same. And
They're
Maybe
like
they
steer or
I
choreograph.
don't think it's a hot take to say that the Tampa Bay Lightning are one of the most exploitative teams in the NHL.
And
And they
that's
have
why
that is proven in like how many they're one of the most penalized teams both ways. Penalty kills, power plays. They just games they're involved in, the refs are involved a lot. And that's something we talked about in this series, how I said some of the game plan for Tampa has to be to have the rough and tumble stuff. Because if you're Tampa, you take your special teams over Toronto's, just historically over the playoffs. Like you take your power play and penalty kill over theirs 10 times out of 10, right? So I think they know what the system is. And Keith said as much. He said he knows they know the refs aren't going to give extra calls, and they took advantage of that. I don't think we can really get too mad at that, and I don't think Keith was like all in a twist about that. I don't know. That was my read on the situation.
Maybe that's Keith manipulating the manipulators. You know what I mean? Maybe now it's
manipulation inception.
Manipulation inception. So what I mean by that is, he's putting that test now to the referees to say in game 4, are they going to be manipulated like that? Like you just got shown on a national broadcast that you were being manipulated by one team, right? Are you going to stand for that? You know what I mean?
But
I doubt it.
If we know the refs, they're not the type of guys to be like, Keith, you got us. You're right. Let's put our ego aside and let's not get manipulated.
You're right.
They're more the type to be like, Keith, you just called us out. You just said we were manipulating. We're the refs. We know what's best. We're going to screw you next game.
And here's the thing with that. If they do end up screwing the Leafs, they're being manipulated. They are the manipulated ones. Like there's no two ways about it. They're in the wrong again here. But you can't.
I really
then another thing too is you can't also then turn around and say like, we're gonna give free calls to Toronto either, because then it's like you're also looking like you're being manipulated by the manipulating.
This is the game management. It's the game management argument, right?
Yeah.
All right, listen. If we want to talk refs, we could talk it all day. I personally don't enjoy talking the ref talk because
oh my god,
it is just going in circles
the sooner we could get like who was the last time it was Francis Chiron as the ref,
Chris Rooney. Yeah.
Chris Rooney. Like, I don't want to know these refs' names, basically. I don't want to know Wes McCauley's name. I don't want to know Francis Chiron's name. I don't want to know Chris Rooney's name. I don't care
about the guy game 2. See, we don't remember game 2 guy because he was good.
Because he was good. I liked him.
Eric Furlat, actually. Sorry,
Eric Furlat.
We didn't like him too much last year. But listen, and Dave, listen, I think we even in game 2, we said Tampa deserved some calls that they didn't get. We talked 100%. About the Matthews cross-check on Cirelli. Like, I really don't think we are obviously talking from a place of bias as fans, but I also think we are doing our due diligence to see it from other people's perspectives.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward. I think we spent a little bit too much time on that, but
sure.
There's 60 seconds left. What happens, boys?
Oh, baby.
Okay. I will say, like, time literally did feel like it fast forwarded between the scrum, that power play, to the last 2 minutes of the game. I wouldn't be able to tell you anything that happened on the ice in that time.
I will tell you what happened. It was a big continuation from the second period for most of that third.
Okay. I did notice it got more physical. That is
just a push for me.
Everyone was finishing their checks both ways. And every hit was loud, right? Sometimes there's a hit made and there's no sound made. Nah, you heard the boards rattle for every hit.
I feel like there was a lot more survival to the Leafs third than maybe we would like. But the one thing I'll have to say that we didn't see in the second was the fight back. And the fight back probably started about midway through, where they started getting, their cycle was going. Everything was just starting to click. And then it culminates in potentially one of the greatest goals in Maple Leafs recent playoff history
in this era.
Very selective.
And it's only going to be succeeded by the play that comes in overtime later, because Ryan O'Reilly bangs and crashes and just pots, on the doorstep. Nice little greasy goal. Like we said before, what you pay for. That is the price of admission for Ryan O'Reilly, right? Staying on the doorstep and just popping it home to tie it. And it just felt like the biggest sigh of relief. I I lost my mind. Christian lost his mind. I could imagine. I wasn't there to see it. Brian lost his mind too internally. He doesn't want to cheer for the Leafs, but I know he did.
I did. Honestly, no, I'm rooting for you guys. Genuinely.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
Brian
That
dapped
means
me
a
up
lot.
after that. That's a rarity.
But
Brian.
it's funny.
That
It's
is a
funny
rarity.
because in that room, two people were
I was
like,
the only
there's
one really, like me and
yeah,
Brian were kind of the only ones watching the game. To
there,
be
there were
honest,
five.
yeah.
There was five of us.
Actually, no, there was someone else watching the game too, but I'm loud about it,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
and I just sat there and I was just like, oh, okay. But
yeah.
it was interesting. It's usually the other way around. I'm not gonna lie. Recently, based on what I've seen with you guys, in the sense that 60 seconds left, it's in your zone, and you guys give up the goal. Nice turn of pace here, huh? Makes up for.
It was very nice.
Ano- Another thing to that too is it's sometimes it feels like where we'd be behind in this type of circumstances, and it's 60 seconds left, and
You'd
it's
be
in
ahead.
our zone. It's in
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
holding
yeah.
it in our zone. Like
it's the
we can't
opposite.
get-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're
So
quaking in our boots.
yeah.
So
Sorry, Brian, are you gonna go to overtime? Because I just have something on the play there, or do you have some third period?
I'll let you go first. I'll just talk about that. I just had a question.
Okay,
But
okay.
go with yours, yeah.
So as I recall, there was this fellow number 23 on the ice in that little play there, and I just do think we have to shout out Matthew Nyes for another good game. He
Man.
almost had a huge
Oh.
goal at the end of the second
we
where he had that break.
glossed over that too. If
Okay,
he
yeah.
scored that goal too, that would have boosted, because that was in the second as the Leafs were getting their
Yeah.
heads kicked in, right?
Yes.
If he lifts the puck maybe an inch, 2 inches, oh my God, the
So-
wonders that does for his confidence and for the rest of the team. Oh man, but
You know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of the Kapanen short-handed breakaway goal on Tuukka Rask in Game 7 to go up, going into the third. That's what that little play reminded me of. But I'm sorry, Dave.
And we
unlocked
lost
something.
it.
I know.
Oh my
I know.
God.
But like that could have been in that
Yeah.
moment, we were like, Kapanen is captain clutching in because he was coming off the World Junior gold medal winning goal. Like that guy was like, he scored the double overtime winner the year before. Oh my, that guy could
I'll
do
be
no
honest with
wrong.
you. That was probably peak of his career.
Oh, 100%, 1000%.
It's pretty sad to say.
That 20-minute intermission, because 20 minutes after that,
Oh my
we didn't
God,
give a
it's
shit about
right
anyone
to
on the
hell.
team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, getting lost in the sauce here. Nice little chance, beautiful. All the scores on the backhand and second, and he gets rewarded with some extra ice time by Keefe. Kerfoot comes off of that second line. Nyes gets inserted into the top six. He is on the ice with an extra skater and an empty net in a playoff game. Can you get a bigger endorsement from your coach?
It is fifth game of his professional hockey
fifth
career.
NHL game where he is now, or no, is that, yeah, his fifth game, where in his next game, he'll equal the amount of playoff games to regular season games in his career. Like, oh
Insane.
my God. Anyways, William Nylander put on that shot for the O'Reilly goal. Very little shrewd play by him. He's basically sitting right in front of the goal line, just says, I'll throw this on. And it was a great decision by him because Tampa's defense looked a little lost. How do you not have Brian O'Reilly in the front of the net? Right?
There's
they
two
weren't
guys
expecting
there.
us to get inside. There was two guys there, like physically, but I don't know about mentally.
Yeah.
And
that looked like a Leaf goal to concede.
Yeah. And I think one of the guys on the ice was Eric Cole. And this also goes to the Victor Hedman not being healthy and the Chernak point. If Chernak's healthy, not saying that it's Chernak in that spot, but maybe it's another guy because you're offsetting the time on ice and whatever, right? So there's a trickle effect there. That Ryan O'Reilly goal, like all kudos to Ryan O'Reilly for being in that spot, for having the poise to kick it from his skate to his stick to the back of the net. It squeaks through Vasi. It does squeak through Vasi a little bit, right? Like Brick Wall Vasi has that one too. So just wanted to mention that as well.
Yeah.
And
no,
Brian,
right.
please, what is your incredible question for us?
The question I have for you guys is, you guys paid a lot for Ryan O'Reilly. And Noel Char, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And it's worked out really, really well. He's feasted. Is this the expectation for the rest of the playoffs? Do you expect him to turn it on like this? Because this
I
is
don't
why you
even
brought
know
him
if
in,
we've seen
right?
like his game yet. Like I don't know if we've had the Ryan O'Reilly game where he has like maybe 2 goals and an assist, and he's got a crazy defensive play in our zone, and like I don't even know if we've seen his signature game yet.
If
I
he
still think
has,
we're on the come up
yeah,
with
if
him.
he has more games like this, though, he gets cemented as a like. I think he's already getting cemented as a local
He's already a
legend.
folklore
Yeah,
legend. Yes.
folklore hero, right? He scored the game tying goal with a minute left, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He gets cemented though if he has more games like this. He had a what was it, a stellar game 2, right? Did he score in game 2
Yes.
or game 1?
He scored in game 1. Yeah.
Yes,
Scored
yeah,
He was
in
yeah,
good
game
game
one.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, it
that's
was the
right.
power play
That
goal to
was
get us
the
off the
one that you
schneid.
called. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And because the reason I ask you this is because he, like I mentioned to you guys, like I mentioned to both of you guys periodically. So he's been key to a certain set play, face off play that has been working out for you guys. Win the face off, shoot it on right away, and it goes in.
Mhm.
And I think don't mistake, don't quote me on this, but I think all three of his assists are based on face off draw goals. So
Yeah, I
It
would
could
have to
be.
look back at them, but he had
I know for
3
sure
points last night, right? He had two
the one
assists.
yesterday, yeah.
like his assists, all three assists are based off face off goals.
What was
And
the other? Did he assist the first goal? I don't know which other goal he
it
assisted
was a
off the
it
top of
was
my
a
head.
Nylander
Was
goal. It was a Nylander goal.
No,
off of
no, but he had 2 assists last night. That's what I'm trying to figure out. But yes, yeah,
Oh,
that
the
one I
Achari
know
one,
what
the
you're
Achari
talking
one.
about.
But
Okay, so that
so
one,
no,
no, but
never mind.
yeah,
My point's wrong. But
but it's still
either
a very
or,
good
yeah.
point, and
and it's
it,
been
like
this
you said, it's something they're looking for.
and it's a theme that's been going on this whole
Yeah,
series. You guys have been winning the draws and dot, and it's paying out.
and we
So
were one of the best teams in the face-off circle over the season. And I think if you go back to from the year that we got Tavares, I think if I had to guess, top 5 over that
since then,
span from that year till now. If I had to guess, yeah.
yep. Did you guys want to get into the goal or like the
I
game
do
winner?
like just overtime in general. Obviously, we get pounded. Sammy makes some big saves. I don't know if we've talked enough about Sammy during this recording here, but listen, like
He shut the
he was all
door.
right in overtime. He didn't shut the door. Um,
You guys didn't
After
deserve to
we
win
were
that
no,
overtime
we didn't
at
yeah.
all.
deserve to win.
We probably didn't even
Goes down to
deserve
the
to
final
make it
minute.
to overtime,
Yeah,
honestly. If we're
yeah.
being
I
completely
think I
honest.
I think let's get to the goal and then we can draw some parallels and whatever from the overtime after. It was it was just surreal, like especially coming after the Justin Hall post, right? Like that was I felt like oh
Yeah.
my god, if
Oh
we
my
were gonna win the
God.
game, that was
If
it. That was
Justin
the one
Hall
that
got
was
the game winner, oh my
and
God.
especially after he had a turnover that led to a 2-on-1 where he tried to make a move to the inside and it did
Yeah.
not happen. What a roller coaster ride for Justin Hall. He doesn't end up being the scapegoat. He doesn't end up being the folklore legend. It is two guys who share the name
Same
Riley
name.
in their last name. Brian said the face-off call. This is a face-off left side of the offensive zone for us. Riley wins it clean to the dot. Morgan Riley,
With less than
he
a minute
takes a
left.
look. Less than a minute left, I think 40 something seconds. Takes his time, throws a seeing eye shot, short side, over Vassie's shoulder.
Squeaks through.
Game winner.
This is
Mo Riley.
it seems like this is something that would happen to you guys again.
100%. It's happened. If you just look
Yeah.
at history, very recent history, last year, game 6, I watched that game in Maple Leaf Square. David Camp takes a penalty. Alex Kerfoot takes a penalty. They score a goal to tie the game. We go to overtime. Leafs are out playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. Brayden Point scores, and it was just like total
Yeah, just
deflation.
against the shift, like against that momentum. What there's a term in so it's against the tide of play, I think I believe.
Okay.
It's what
Yeah.
they would say in soccer. Oh, it's against the run of play. That's what they would say
Okay.
in football, like in European football.
Yeah.
It
Just
really
two
was.
more.
We have
two more illusions, like or two more comparisons to make there. The Montreal
the
series, game 5 and game 6.
both overtime losses in thing. We were pounding Montreal in that overtime, especially, and
Travis
we just
Dermott
couldn't
one
get that
time,
breakthrough.
Galchenyuk the other time.
And it was a brutal giveaway both games in a row. This okay, I granted this time it wasn't like, there wasn't an egregious giveaway, I would say, right?
There was the Justin Hall one, but the difference was like it
Oh
didn't
yeah,
burn
that we
us,
stopped it.
right? Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
agree. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
All is
But yeah,
forgiven. The eraser, wipe from memory. We will not. You guys won't remember that for the next 20 years, as opposed to
yeah,
if it went
like
in.
dude, if they concede because of that, dude, he's getting run out of town today, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
today he almost scored. I mean, dude, if he had scored, I think half this fan base would have been like,
It would have been
why
resigned
did it
or
have to be him? Why did it have to be him? Like, why do we have to praise him
so,
today? Because
so
some
something.
people are just it's still a point with Justin Hall where it's you either like him or you actually like you were like, oh, this guy's really good on the team, or you just want him off the team. I tend to be on the boat where if he's on the team, just support the guy. Just give him your support. It does a lot less for people if
eh,
you're against them on your own team.
So
Ah,
something I just wanted to ask you guys is, what are the expectations for next game?
win.
Win. Okay,
Yeah.
that's all you want. You
Foot on
Win
don't
the
by
care
all
about
throat.
performance
means. Win by all means.
Foot on the throat. This is a pivotal moment in Maple
because
Leafs history, or at least for this era, right? Like this is another opportunity, and we've been in this spot before. We've
you
been
have.
in this spot last series, right? Up 3-2, game six, talked about it. In the Boston series, I still remember game six on Easter Sunday. Morgan Riley scores in that game to go up 1-0. It doesn't go our way. Doesn't go our way.
Yep.
So many times we've been able to put our foot on the throat.
So
Hey,
And this isn't
we
even
were
a
up.
clincher, but
We're up 3-1. Montreal couldn't put it away, right? I think if you win 3-1, then the question's going to be asked. Like, you put your foot on the throat, the question will be asked, can you finish it? That has been the biggest problem for the Leafs. It's finishing the series. Going up, like, let's say we lose the next game and it's 2-2, then it goes 3-2. Once it hits that third win, that has been the problem. Win at all costs. That's all I'm
or
saying.
win before you
Win.
even have to get there.
Well,
Yeah.
yes. Once you hit that 3 wins, though, win at all costs. Win at
Oh,
all
you win your
costs
way.
tomorrow
Okay.
to get to 3 wins. Win at all costs to finish the series. I don't care
Yes.
what it is. It could be a overtime winner deflecting in off of Justin Hall's ass for all I care. I literally don't give a shit how it is. Make it happen. The resilience you showed in game 3, the resilience you showed in game 2 after being fucking embarrassed on home ice, that is how you have to continue the rest of this series. And then take that and carry it on to the next round. And then the round after that. And then the round after that until you get 16 fucking wins and you win the Stanley Cup for the first time
Yes.
in 56 years, whatever. I
So
don't care what it is. It's enough time for the excuses. Just finish it. Just finish it.
any last points before we close?
I've got a couple of things here. I feel
Rapid
like we have
fire.
to give an explicit shout out to Morgan Riley. Playoff Mo is
Playoff
here.
playoff
We
mode.
talked about this in the season. We've talked about it in past seasons in Leafs Nation where we're not happy with his regular season play. He looks flat footed. He's making wrong decisions at the wrong times. He's looking just lackadaisical on the defensive zone, poor coverage, jumping up when he shouldn't
Impact
be.
player so far.
And then the playoffs come around,
Oh
and
man.
my God,
Playoff
playoff
mode.
Morgan Riley is a totally
Playoff
different
mode,
player,
dude.
totally different animal. I don't have his updated playoff stats in front of me right now. They're goddamn good after this series because, man, like we've always talked about, this guy scores big goals, and we don't even necessarily need him to score the actual goals. We just want effective play that pushes momentum, pushes the pace of the game. He's given us everything. This
Yep.
guy is just a freaking warrior. I need to shout him out. There's been a couple quotes to come out of, I guess, practice this morning. John Cooper, quote unquote, manipulating the referees, question mark. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know what to
Oh, I
make of that.
love you,
This is John
John.
Cooper stuff. We're not going to go into it. John Cooper on Morgan Riley. A superhuman being, but didn't like his collision with Braden Point. Was the incident reckless? For sure, and it looked awful. Don't have to get into it. Just wanted to read that. Keefe on Samsonov. Or Sheldon Keefe, when, and these are all from Chris Johnston, by the way. Sheldon Keefe, when asked why Ilya Samsonov wasn't made available to the media after a 36 save victory last night, quote unquote, have you been talking to Vasilevsky at all this series? let him play goal.
Ooh.
That's a great
I
point by
like
Jordan
that.
Kiefer.
Ooh.
That felt like a bit of a call out. Obviously, depends on the tone he used here, but that's him saying, "Don't
Oh,
hold
I
me to a
know.
different
I
standard. Go
know
talk
what
to
tone
Coop."
he used here. I know. We all know
Yeah,
what. We don't need to hear
yeah,
the tone. We know the tone he
yeah.
used here.
Just a
Yeah.
little bit of teasers to get the fire burning in your heart
Yeah.
for Game
Well,
4.
because you know what it is? You know what it is? Vasilevsky's not up to his standard. Ask him about it. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Right?
And I'll tell you what, we'll see if he is up to standards. Game 4. When is Game 4, boys?
Monday
Game 4
night.
is tomorrow.
When can you watch Game? Where can you watch Game 4?
It's a lovely place called Fubo.
You can watch it on Fubo TV. You can also watch you can watch almost every game on CBC on Fubo TV. Shout out to NHLShop.ca. Shout out to Razor. Thank you again for listening. This concludes episode 30. We'll be back with a recap of the Leafs game, but we'll be back with another Puck Pod episode next week. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.